So, again, thank you all for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you for continuing to stick with me and my channel. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. So, I have a solved case for you tonight, and it might make you mad, much like it did me. So we are going to talk about Leslie Palacio and her murder. Horrific murder. I can't. Alright, Leslie was born on the 5th of May in 1998 in Las Vegas, Nevada. She was the second oldest of 5 daughters, and she lived with her mother. I believe it's Araceli, but I heard it a couple different ways. Leslie was studying phlebotomy at college. Now, if you don't know what phlebotomy is, it is the person that draws your blood. And according to one of her sisters, Leslie loved phlebotomy because she basically got paid to poke people for a living. I get a giggle out of that because I do that too. She was extremely close with her 4 sisters. They would hang out together, they would exercise together, they would go hiking, and some of their favorite memories with their sister were just goofing off, playing music, and dressing up. The sisters had dreams of opening up their own clothing boutique together. Leslie and her mother set up their own business after Araceli was let go during the pandemic. The business was a cleaning business. According to Leslie's mother, everyone who met her liked her, and she liked everyone too. She had this contagious smile. Her loved ones remember her as friendly, cheerful. She was set on achieving big things. Now, as I said, professionally, Leslie was a lab tech, a phlebotomist, and her coworkers described her as excellent at her job. Her colleagues would recall how calm and poised she always was, even when she had to attend to the scared people. She had this aura about her, and she would take her time to help relax them and do her job perfectly. However, being a phlebotomist wasn't enough for Leslie. She wanted to do more for her community and herself. She wanted to become a criminal investigator and take care of her neighborhood. On August 28th, 2020, Leslie really wanted to just have a fun-filled night. She had finished her lab technician program, and she wanted to celebrate. Las Vegas had just opened up after the pandemic, and she wanted to go to some casinos and just have a good time. So she messaged some of her friends who were all either busy or didn't want to go out that evening. And as she was looking for someone to hang out with, she gets this message on Instagram. And it is from 25-year-old Eric Rangel. Now, Eric isn't a stranger to Leslie. The Rangels and the Palacios attended the same church, and their families had basically known each other for decades. But, as you may have decided by the fact that he sent her an Instagram message instead of a text message, Leslie and Eric weren't really friends. where she was going, who she was going with, and what they planned to do that evening. She promised to text her with updates regularly so that her sister could reach her if she needed to. Leslie and Eric spent the night just as I described, visiting casinos and bars, and Leslie kept her sister informed throughout the entire night. However, at 4:40 a.m., she sent her sister this really cryptic message that I would still be extremely bothered by. It said, "Dude, I have got to talk to you about," and it mentions a name, and this name has not been released to the public. Now, Carly remembers seeing a text bubble, believing that her sister was continuing to type, but a moment later, it went away, and she never heard from her sister again. This random message was the very last message Carly ever got from her sister Leslie. So the next morning, she gets up and she goes to Leslie's room to talk to her, but she's not there, and she's like, "What?" Now, she wasn't terribly concerned. She just figured Leslie had gotten too drunk, and she had crashed at Eric's place. However, when she didn't hear from her as the day went on and the morning got later, she got nervous. So she and some of her family members decide to go to Eric's house to get her sister. And what they see when they pull up is so weird. Eric's mom and sister are carrying furniture from their house, like to a van, as if they were moving out. They were also wearing rubber gloves as they did this. Now this really gave the Palacios like this strange vibe, and the mom and sister swore that they knew nothing about Leslie and Eric's night out. And the Palacios are like, okay, something is not right. So these sisters just immediately jump into action. They start calling everywhere, inquiring if anyone has seen or heard from Leslie. They reach out to the local hospitals. They call her friends. They even tried to contact Eric, but they got nothing. So the following day, on August 30th of 2020, the Palacios file a missing persons report. The Las Vegas Police Department immediately started its investigation. They requested her cell phone records to try and track her location and her movements. However, these things take time. But the Palacios were not going to stop. They worked on creating awareness of Leslie's disappearance. The family started a community-wide search effort. And then some big news came in the very next day. Eric's mother filed a missing persons report saying that both Eric and his father Jose were missing. Eric's mother claimed he had been out drinking on August 28th of 2020 and that he came home the next morning and he acted super strange and he left the house very soon after and he never came back. So the police are like, okay, this can't be a coincidence that the two of them are missing at the same time. But what really confused the police department was, why is Eric's father missing too? This whole story is just weird, and the police are like, no, something is not right. Soon, they had recovered her phone records, and they tracked her movements from Longhorn Casino to Putter's Bar and Grill at 2:15 a.m. and then to Bourbon Street Bar at 5:50 a.m. Leslie and Eric had a long night. The Las Vegas police then started to look for surveillance footage in the neighborhood it's hard to tell on this tape whether that was Eric or his father, Jose. And then at 7:25 a.m., Eric and his father, Jose, carry Leslie's body out of the house, wrapped in a bedsheet. The two of them put her into the bed of the truck, and Eric drives it away. And then Jose stays behind and cleans the driveway with a hose. Police quickly realize Eric and Jose are not missing. They are running. And Leslie had been murdered. The police obtain a search warrant for the Raquel home, and they are greeted with tons of evidence. The house was filled with cleaning supplies and latex gloves, and it looked like they were just cleaning this place basically upside down, everything that they could clean. However, the primary evidence was in Eric's bedroom. There were blood splatters on the floor and his mattress. Even before DNA analysis confirmed the identity, they knew it was Leslie's. It was very clear that Leslie had lost her life in the Raquel household that morning. The police start searching for Jose and Eric, but they're also still searching for Leslie. And, oh, I went too far. My bad. Sorry. They requested the community help them, and even though the Palacio family knew they weren't getting their daughter back alive, they still wanted justice, and they wanted closure, and they wanted to bring Leslie home. Their strong will and proactiveness really led their community to rally around them and urge people to do their best. A few days later, the police get a lead in Leslie's case. At 10 a.m., August 29th, 2020, the day that Leslie was killed, a license plate reader had identified Eric's vehicle 6 miles from his house. And this was 3 to 4 hours after the murder, around 10 a.m. Based on this information, the police inferred that Eric must have hidden Leslie's body a couple of hours away. The police believed Eric could have taken Leslie's body to either the Nevada-Arizona border or towards Charleston Peak. While this inference is a really good start, this still really doesn't narrow down the search area. It is a massive area, and the police really needed more information in order to narrow it down. And they get it from a gas station about 40 miles north of Las Vegas. A surveillance camera captured Eric's car pulling off the highway towards the Valley of Fire National Park. And this same camera caught him heading back just 20 minutes later. So, police start searching that area, and they find Leslie in September. Eric had dumped Leslie's body behind a large bush. He hadn't put any effort into hiding her at all. She was partially clothed, and her muddy jeans indicate that he had dragged her to this location. Now, the Valley of Fire is extremely hot, and the decomposition rate was incredibly fast, and as a result, the autopsy report couldn't conclusively point to how Leslie had died. Leslie's family will never know how and why she died until they find Eric. Now, Leslie's family is devastated beyond their wildest imaginations, and they're keen on taking that first step towards justice. It's still emotional and heart-wrenching. I mean, they had known the Raquel family for years, and yeah, they thought that Eric had this innocent crush on Leslie, but what the heck had happened? Police had found Leslie, but they had not found her killer. While they looked into tips they received from the public, the police located Eric's truck 280 miles away in California's Moreno Valley. Eric had a cousin there who gave them some troubling news. He told the police that Eric and Jose had crossed the border into Mexico, and this case had just become 1,000 times more complicated. The FBI gets involved at this point, and the search for Eric and Jose continues for months. When then, in a weird kind of twist of fate, on January 19th, 2021, Jose Rangel turns himself in near the border on the Mexican side. Now, he hasn't really explained what made him turn himself in, but the police knew that they could use him to get some well-deserved answers for the Palacio family. He's quickly extradited to Nevada and charged with accessory to murder and destruction of evidence. Jose initially told the police that Eric was depressed and that he had taken his son to Mexico for a break. But when the police confront him with the CCTV footage of them putting Leslie's body in the truck, Jose knows he's busted, and so is his kid. And he starts to give them more information while also minimalizing his own involvement. Jose tells the police he was in the garage when Eric comes downstairs shirtless, carrying Leslie's body in a sheet. He said Eric was freaking out, and in a split-second decision, he decides to help his son get her body out of their house because he did not want the other members of their family to see it. Jose reportedly told detectives he didn't notice any trauma to her body. He didn't notice any blood or vomit, but he did notice, how he noticed this while she's wrapped in a sheet, that she was not fully clothed. Then why are you hosing down the driveway, Jose? Like, there had to be something. I don't believe you. Jose said he did not expect to see Eric again that day, but when he turned up at his daughter's apartment that afternoon and was making weird statements about hurting himself, Jose and other people coming to off him and or his family, Jose says this is when he knew he just had to get Eric out of the country. He tells detective his son indicated that he and Leslie had had a lot to drink the night before she died, and that she may have overdosed. He denied that his wife or daughters knew anything about Leslie even being at the house, or that they had any involvement at all. So the police are like, no, we have more questions, Jose, keep talking. However, Jose has no answers, especially to their most important question. Where is Eric Rangel? Jose claimed that when the Mexican authorities started to search for them, they split up in order to make things more difficult for the police. I may believe that's true, but I don't believe you don't know where he is. In June of 2021, Jose ultimately pled guilty to all charges against him, but he was sentenced to only 2 years in prison. He apologized to Leslie's family during his court hearing. He said, quote, "I am very, very sorry. May she rest in peace. I understand their pain and it hurts me. It hurts my heart, understanding I failed as a father and that 2 beautiful families were destroyed. I recognize my mistake and I feel very ashamed that this incident took place and that I, as a father, acted the way I did and did not go straight to authorities when that happened. My love as a father won me over. I was so on edge I didn't know what to do. My emotions betrayed me and I did not make the right decision." End quote. The judge was pretty unhappy about Jose's sentencing, but he had to follow the law. And in the end, Jose Rangel served less than 9 months his actual sentence. So this guy's just running around free, just so you know. He continues to swear he doesn't know where Eric is, and the FBI is still searching for him. Leslie's family is doing everything that they can to support this search. But until we find Eric, Leslie will have to wait for justice. Leslie's story is heartbreaking to me, and what's more tragic is knowing her dreams. She wanted to become an investigator to take care of her own community. She wanted to make sure justice was served, and here we are, years later, me telling you how justice for her has not been served. It's not okay, and it's not fair. A lot of people believe that Jose's trial was one-sided. After all, he helped his son cover up a murder and escape, and he got 2 years and served less than 9 months. Moreover, the Wrangles had known her for decades, and they just didn't care. Leslie's family believes the justice system is broken, and they want to fight for a change in the law. They want to ensure that no one in Nevada ever faces the same struggles that they've had to. Leslie was buried at the end of September 2020 in a private service. Since then, her loved ones have taken to social media to spread word about her murder. They use the hashtag Justice for Leslie Palacio. And many have even held a justice rally down the Vegas Strip with posters of her. Family and friends are doing everything they can to keep awareness going about her case. Meanwhile, if you have any information, please don't hesitate to contact the Las Vegas Police Department or Crime Stoppers. The Palacios have a GoFundMe page where you can donate and support their initiative if you feel so inclined. So let's talk about this a little. This is very similar to a case I just covered on Patreon of wrong place, wrong time, with a little bit more of a family involvement. It is so unfortunate to me that he hasn't been caught yet. I think that without knowing any of the details, because they haven't been released because it was just not feasible, I think maybe they got drunk and he didn't get as drunk as she did, and he tried to put some moves on her and she refused, and he got angry and he hurt her. I don't think she overdosed. All of her family found that to be extremely unplausible. She wasn't one to do stuff like that. You know, in the medical field, we get tested for things like that. And she was, starting this new career, and it just wasn't the type of person that she was. It wasn't her way to have fun. So, I think that it is extremely upsetting that Eric Wrangle is still on the run. I understand that he has crossed the border into Mexico, and someone would have to really report him being there in order for him to be extradited back to the United States. Or, like his father, he would have to give himself up. I don't know why Jose surrendered himself other than to get back to his wife and other children. The logics of cases like this really kind of defy any explanation I could give you. I like to think that I would have the backup of a family member if I called and said, please help me hide a body. However, I don't think that is true, and I don't friends. You know, they were fine to bring her dinner when she was sick or whatever, but now that she's got dementia and people don't know what she's saying, they don't. So, anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Leslie's murder was completely atrocious, and it has definitely taken a toll, and I cannot describe how mad it makes me that Eric hasn't been caught. You're just still living your life, basically doing whatever you want, free in Mexico, with no thoughts or cost how you're affecting other people you've known for decades. I mean, you had a crush on her and she said no, so you did something to her. Like, nothing makes me more furious than that. Like, no means, I'm just assuming, but no means no, y'all. Like, you knew she didn't want to be with you. The fact that she even hung out with you as friends when it appeared like y'all really didn't do that in any other cases. You take what you can get, dude. Like, I get so worked up. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I am extremely sorry it is not longer.